Hello, Fort Collins. I'm your host, Jacky Wilson, and this is CTV Talks. With the semester winding down, we're wondering what students are doing when they're not hitting the books. Tonight, we'll be speaking with some talented CSU students and graduates to figure out what drives them outside their collegiate lives. Then stay tuned because the weather is warming up, and weather anchor Austin Harley will be giving us some details on that. But first, we're here with some representatives of the Fort Collins play, Doctor. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So can you kind of introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the role you have in Doctors?
Okay, my name is Seth Klusmeyer. I wrote Doctor, and I've been writing it for about 2 years, and it finally came together.
Nice.
I'm Tim Worth, and I play the Doctor, so I'm one of the lead characters in it. And yeah, we've been friends for a while, so we've been working on it for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, Seth, can you give us a little bit of a synopsis of Doctor?
Yeah, it's about a woman named Lori Sanderson, who is in a mental institution in 1955 in San Jose, California. And she is sick mentally, and basically when it plays out, you see her memories, you see how she got there, and you see an outside source that's kind of put her in there and kind of put a chain on her.
Wow, interesting. So where did you come up with such an interesting idea?
I was in the hospital in middle school for about 3 months, and then in high school for about 2 months, and with like intestinal stuff. And it wasn't a fun time, and I always thought I should make it into something positive. So.
Yeah, interesting. Well, that's cool that you could draw such inspiration.
Yeah.
And what can one take from this play?
I think there are a couple of pretty interesting themes or ideas you can take away from it. Definitely, I think the audience will think a lot about what it means to be a human and what it means to have a soul, and what love is to us as well.
Cool.
Some big themes in there.
Yeah, existence in general.
Interesting. So, I mean, Tim, this must be such an interesting role for you, being that you are not only acting out in the play, but you also have a great relationship with the writer.
Yeah.
So that's so interesting. How is that whole dynamic? How does that play out?
It's very beneficial for the most part. I mean, since we're very comfortable with each other already, we can communicate much easier and convey our ideas across. So it's been a really fun time so far, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to putting a show on. So.
Right, very cool. And most of the cast is from here in Fort Collins, correct?
Yes.
So what does that bring to the play?
Well, everyone here is everyone in the cast from there? We have a couple alumni, but everyone is still a CSU student.
Wow.
And it's great just because each person wanted to see what it's like to do a play outside of the UCA, which is where plays are usually done, and it's a challenge. We are going to only have about 2 days to practice in the setting that we're going to be doing it at, and the place that we're going to do it at. So everyone wanted that challenge, and so far, so good.
Wow, that's so cool. And I mean, along with one of these challenges is probably fundraising.
Yes.
How does that work?
So we set up an Indiegogo account, and we've made $1,700 so far.
Wow.
And yeah, it's going great. There's actually 8 more days if you'd like to contribute. That's on our website, it's on our Facebook, everything like that.
Yeah.
And we've had positive response, yeah.
Nice. And that's solely through donation?
Solely through donation.
Wow, how cool. Whose idea was that?
That was our PR director, Emma Schenkenberger.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma.
Yes.
Right?
Very much
Very
so.
cool. Well, you were talking about this play having a lot to do with mental health. And what does this play have to do with Mental Health Awareness Month?
So May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
And we thought it would be a good idea to give back to the community, especially mental health. This play has a lot to do with it because she's losing her mind, and depression is not a fun thing, neither is anything that comes with mental health diseases.
Right.
And we got in touch with Mental Health America, specifically the Colorado chapter, and we are looking to give money to them. All of our proceeds will go towards mental health awareness.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool that you guys are doing that. And so, who would you say is the target audience for your play?
Well, that's a tough question. I think that really anyone who wants to support local culture in Fort Collins is someone we're reaching out to. Also, people who might be affected by mental health illnesses, or if they have parents or relatives or anything like that. Just anyone who wants to come see it, really. But we are trying to say a couple things.
I try to get even the college students out there. We have a lot of good buzz from the people in the community, but so far We're not sure if the college folks want to come out, so hopefully this will help.
Yeah, well, it certainly sounds interesting with having a student cast. That's definitely a draw for sure. And speaking of being students, both of you are currently students right now, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That's so crazy. So with your majors, where are you planning on taking those?
Tim, you want to go first?
Well, yeah, I'm double majoring right now in theater and economics, and my passion's totally theater. So I'm planning on going out to LA actually right when I graduate.
Very cool.
And auditioning for film and trying to get into the big leagues or whatever you want to call it.
Nice.
And I'm going to move out to New York as soon as possible and continue writing. Definitely continue acting as well and just see what happens.
Well,
Should be fun.
very cool. We're excited to see where this takes you, and we're excited to see the play as well.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us
Thank you.
tonight. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. If we've sparked your interest in the play Doctor, the first showings are happening the second week in May on the 7th and 8th in the Carnegie Building. Stay tuned to hear from a student who's interested in a different kind of performing right after the break.
The great outside.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
So shiny.
We both love the outdoors.
That's not a flower.
And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Welcome back, Fort Collins. You've just tuned in to CTV Talks, and tonight we're figuring out what CSU students are occupying their time with outside of campus. Joining us now is Nick Wilson, who has a passion that he expresses through song. Welcome, Nick. Thank you so much for being here.
How you doing? Good to see you.
So through song, tell me what that means.
It's kind of like a passion you just kind of say give out your story to somebody through music, and it's definitely something that's easier to do. You know, you tell a story because I think every song has a story. I mean, everybody's life is a song. So
Cool.
I mean, everybody has their own stories, and it just kind of entails on how you're gonna live it, you know, and how you want to make sure everybody else sees your story.
Right. That's a cool way to think about it. And what kind of genre, like how would you define or categorize your music?
I definitely put it in the hip hop for sure, but I mean, it's more of like a laid back kind of where, you know, you don't have to, it's not about being in the club all the time or sitting back and do anything. I put it more in that Kid Cudi frame with, you know, he's kind of just speaking from the heart, telling his feelings, but it's never, you know, so true. So I say it's definitely like a very laid back hip hop style to it.
Right. And you said that this is something that you're so passionate about. Is there any other passion that you have?
Yeah, I definitely have passion for just kind of, I mean, I'm a motivated person. I say self-motivated. So, I mean, I have a passion to just kind of run my own business someday.
Yeah.
And, you know, take control of that and be the one who makes all the decisions. And
Nice.
give
Never a
something.
bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I mean, I just want to be the boss. I just want to run something and, you know, prove everybody who never thought it was possible for me that, you know, definitely could happen to anybody.
Right. Very cool. And so how does this passion, I guess, drive what you're doing here at CSU?
It's honestly completely a little, well, I guess it's very like similar, but I mean, it's completely different at the same time. I double majored in international studies and Spanish, and I want to take that to like Nike for headquarters and, you know, open up something of my own that kind of sets in, you know, a committee that kind of works in Spain more.
Right.
So that's where, I mean, that's my passion for school-wise, you know.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, it's a long way down the road, and you got to work really hard for them, you know. Nike's
for
a good
sure.
company, so I mean, you definitely have to push for them, and they'll push for you easily.
Definitely. And these passions are kind of pretty polar opposite.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that music was something that you were so passionate about?
I've always I think honestly the music came first to me because my family just growing up in church, you know, everybody's in the choir and sisters singing, mom singing, the grandpa was a pastor. So I mean, you kind of see the whole thing of it in the essence of like, you know, music is like beautiful in my opinion. So I mean, being able to see it on any level, it just has always been in my heart. So I mean, I've always just kind of making my own music has always been a thing for me to do. And I mean, writing down, and it just makes it really easy. So I mean,
Very cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'd love to do, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so do you write these raps yourself?
I do. I write everything by myself. It's 100% me.
Nice.
I like to be as honest as possible, and I mean, you're establishing a story and credit at the same time, so you want to make sure that, you know, it's as honest as it can be, but it's something you can back up at the same time.
Right.
So I mean, I definitely write everything though. That's all me.
Yeah, that's cool that you're putting your whole soul into that.
Yeah.
And so are you collaborating with anyone else as far as musically?
Right now I am. Just one person. It's Chief Jamerson. He's in Denver. Set out of there. He's also one of my best friends. So I mean, he's definitely. There's only two people I really have been messing with, him and myself. So I mean, that's two.
Nice. And Nick, you were talking about earlier your nickname, or I guess rapper name. What is that?
It's Sponsor.
And where did that come from?
I do it because it's like more of an advertising for those that doubted me. You know, it's kind of saying like I'm gonna prove you and everybody else who's always kind of had that doubt against me, or just anybody in general. I'm advertising for those that, you know, don't want to speak about their lives, but they, you know, they're trudging through every day and it's a struggle, but they don't say anything, you know, they have a smile on their face. And so I'm kind of doing it to be like, you know, everybody isn't always perfect smiling. So I mean, I just want to advertise and kind of be that person that sponsors for everybody else. You know?
Wow, how cool. I can definitely tell how much heart you have. That's really awesome.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. And in Fort Collins, I mean, we have such a huge music scene, and it's such a popular place for music in general. Just the culture kind of accepts that here. So, I mean, is it hard to make a name for yourself in such a busy culture?
I definitely say it's hard. I mean, nowadays it's, you know, everybody's like gotten a passion for music or just kind of like a hobby into it, and some take it serious and some don't. And so, I mean, with that, you kind of have to, you know, be weeded out in a sense to see just how serious you are about it. But I mean, Fort Collins, you know, that's a great place to be for music, especially, you know, all the people that have come through here. So, I mean, it's definitely difficult, but I think it's definitely possible if you work hard enough at it, you know.
Right, very cool. So, if I want to hear your raps, where can I go to listen?
I actually just released a mixtape on my birthday, which was Monday, the 21st. It's called 21, and it's on datpiff.com. You just look up Sponsor 21, it'll pop right up.
Cool.
It's just kind of like an EP almost, and it's kind of like a story of your life, obviously. Very short, just to prove a point, and then continue on. But it'd be there, and Reverb Nation /sponsor that. You can find it there too, and that's really where I am. I drop all my music there, new every day, probably.
Nice, well, we'll certainly have to take a listen. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming in. It was a pleasure having you.
Absolutely.
Whatever you're doing off campus is better outside, right? Stay tuned for the weather in Fort Collins and see how nice it has been right after the break.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back from the break. Another beautiful day here in Fort Collins. Seasonal, but a dip from what we experienced the last few days with those above average temperatures. Right now, 53 degrees outside the CTV studio here on the CSU campus. Partly cloudy skies this evening. Will be clouding up a little more overnight and then clearing tomorrow morning. Right now we have winds out of the northwest at 21 miles per hour, so fairly gusty. Those will continue overnight as well, and we can expect them into tomorrow too. A tip here, 53 degrees is the wind chill right now, same as the temperature, because temperatures above 50 don't count as wind chill. It's just too warm for those winds to have any effect. Right now, 36 here in Fort Collins. Just kidding, that's the low for this evening. 40 is the low in Denver tonight, and 28 in Lyman and Lamar at 40 this evening. That'll be a very welcomed cool down from today, where they experienced temperatures in the upper 80s. And certainly had some fire danger there today with the low humidity and wind speeds as well. Those conditions will continue into tomorrow for southeastern Colorado. 74 in Lamar, 69 in Burlington. Very strong winds out of the west, low humidities. That's perfect for fire. 65 here in Fort Collins and 66 in Denver. Certainly better in our area, less chance for fire. 47 and 57 in the mountains, so no danger for that there. This 5-day forecast is looking great for the next few days before we see, take a look at that, a thunderstorm on Saturday. Beautiful on Friday, 72, and then that thunderstorm on Saturday afternoon at 67. Again, we'll see some showers probably on Sunday as well. Not a thunderstorm though, just some rain. And then Monday morning, before classes start, some more showers, but looks like we should just be cloudy for the rest of the day with a high in the mid-50s. Jackie, a thunderstorm. I mean, last week there was a chance of it and we didn't get it, but I'm kind of looking forward to it.
I know, I'm hoping. We need a little bit of rain, right?
Yeah, April showers bring May flowers.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. It was so interesting hearing about all the different performers we have here on our own campus.
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Austin Harley.
And I'm Jacky Wilson. Good night.
Good night.